Hi, I'm Lisa. I'm the Barefoot Pampered Chef. I'm going to try a little bit of a new camera angle, so bear with me. Hopefully this one works out well. What I'm going to make for you today is a mac and cheese. Now, most kids like mac and cheese. I say most because my kid didn't like any pasta products until he was like 5 years old. So I'm going to make a mac and cheese, but we're going to add a lot of vegetables that the kids really won't notice. Now, hiding vegetables, you can go either way. Some people say do it, some people say don't. What I like to do is hide some vegetables in some dishes, but give them a vegetable that they can try. So today we're just going to make the mac and cheese, but you might want to pair it with a vegetable that they like so that they get a vegetable that they will eat and they don't associate vegetables with bad food. So the first thing that I did, and I'll show you here in a second, is I've got my batter bowl here, and inside of it I've got some cauliflower that I've run through my vegetable strip maker, as well as some carrots that I've run through the vegetable strip maker. Now, because I want them about the size of elbow macaroni, instead of running the carrot this way, I'm actually running the carrot length or up and down, because it will make shorter pieces and it'll match up to the size of the macaroni. While I'm doing this, I just have 2 tablespoons of butter over here in my rock crock. So get down to where there's a little bit left. The next thing I'm going to do, I just have some cauliflower stems that I had left over from another dish. I'm just going to run those through as well. This one through. Now I have about 3 medium carrots in here and probably about half of a head of cauliflower. If you like cauliflower, you can just do a whole head of cauliflower for this recipe, that's fine. So what you want to do is take this mixture and you are going to add it into your butter so that these start to saute a little bit. Can you hear that sizzle? So we'll get all this goodness in here. So your carrots have a lot of beta carotene in them, some really good antioxidants, as well as the cauliflower has some good vitamins and minerals in it as well. We're just going to kind of saute this until these get a little bit on the soft side. Now this is a dish where you don't really have to cook it in the oven after you're done. You can serve it up as is. I like my macaroni and cheese a little bit brown and bubbly. Brown is flavor. So we're going to put it in the oven. So as these are getting all nice and soft, what we're going to add to these before we add in the noodles is 1 cup of half and half. Now, if you don't have the veggie slicer, you can take your manual food processor, half of a cup of your half and half, and your cauliflower, and process that together so it almost makes a kind of a paste or a soup, and then that can be added into here instead of just doing it all with the vegetable slicer and sauteing it. So these are just going to take a little while to get soft. And the other thing that we're going to add is 12 ounces of shredded cheese. Now I had some shredded cheese left over that was already shredded from another dish. You can obviously use your microplane coarse adjustable grater. Sometimes you can find the blocks of cheese a lot cheaper than you can find the already shredded stuff. So to save some money, great way to do that. This kind of almost has a white sauce to it for your macaroni. Usually a white sauce does call for some flour or something to thicken it up like a roux, but I don't believe we'll need that today. So these are getting nice and soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my 1 cup of half and half. Kind of bring that up to a little boil here. Shoo fly. Get that all incorporated. And it's coming to a bubble. So I'm just going to add my cheese slowly because I don't want it to get all clumpy on me. So we're going to add it, stir it around, let that melt a little bit. Add a little bit more. Now this is a really cheesy dish, but you're almost kind of trying to mask that flavor of the vegetables so your kids will eat it. Try to lift this guy up for you guys in a second to let you see it a little bit. But we're getting this nice cheesy cauliflower carrot mixture going here. Just keep stirring and adding cheese. Cooking is love. Sometimes you have to go a little slow. Add this. I'm going to add the rest of this. Now for our spices for this, because you do want a little bit of a taste other than cheese in this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. That's pretty classic in a lot of mac and cheeses actually. I added a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric just because I like that flavor and that orangish yellow that it imparts in your dish. And then we're also going to add salt and pepper to taste. So we're going to add the rest of this. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. It's getting a little warm. We're going to add in our seasonings that I just talked about. So I've got those in there. Now if you'll note the green, that's because I used my infused salt, my rosemary infused salt. So get this all nice and mixed together. I'll show you how this looks. Look at that. Cheesy, gooey yumminess. And I mean, it hasn't been more than 10 minutes and we're practically done with this dish. It's that simple. Now, before I started, I threw my micro cooker into the microwave with 1 pound of elbow macaroni, covered it with water, and set it for 10 minutes. It's done. I already drained it out. And so I'm going to take this and just add this macaroni to our pot, or on the floor. Hopefully not all on the floor. Making a mess today. I'm going to turn off this heat because we don't need that heat anymore. I'm going to mix this up nicely. Oh, this smells so yummy. So once you get that all nice and mixed up, the thing that I like to do is put a nice little topping on it. So if you're having this for kids, which is great, I would use something like a crushed up goldfish cracker. That would probably be pretty nice. I assume that a crushed up like combo, those pretzel cheddar things would go rather nice on here. Even, you know, some sort of a crushed up cheese nip or something. What I had on me is some club crackers. So I'm just going to take those out of the bag. And before I pop this in the oven, I'm going to make sure it's all nice and mixed up here. I'm going to sprinkle that over top of it. bake it covered for a little while just to get all the gooiness, and then take that cover off so that it gets a little crispy on top. Like I said, you can eat it just as it is right now. You don't even have to put it in the oven. I think I'm going to put mine in for about 15 minutes on 350. It really just depends on how bubbly and brown you want it. I'm going to sprinkle these over the top. This just gives it that nice buttery crust to the top of it. The goldfish crackers, I use those on tuna noodle casserole that I make. They make a cute little dish, and it entices kids to want to eat something that's homemade when they have something on it. I've used the colorful ones. The only thing is with the colorful ones, you don't want to mash them up as much, because with the colors it will make a muddy type of a color. All of the colors blend together. So I'm going to pick this up to show you guys how this looks before I pop it in my oven. And like I said, I mean, we've used 3 carrots in this. So that carrot kind of goes with the orange texture and the orange looking sauce. And then the crushed chips on top, or even potato chips, something to that extent, will make this dish really good. So there you go. There's one meal of how to hide vegetables. Now in this dish, you know, if your kid isn't as picky, you could add a green vegetable. Just call it, you know, turtle mac and cheese or something green. You can add broccoli, you can add spinach, anything of that nature. And mac and cheese is a pretty good one to be able to add things like that into, to kind of help kids out and get them to explore a little bit more. So I hope you'd enjoy this recipe. Our rock crock, the veggie strip maker, my micro cooker, and everything else that I've used in this demonstration can be found on www.pamperedchef.biz/Lisa Wright, LISAWRIGHT. I hope you guys have a good day. Thanks.